Greetings, Bapo family. Bapo, believe ambitiously, persevere opportunities outstandingly. This morning topic, Jamaica's tourism. Firstly, Bapo TV would like to state that Jamaica's tourism addictive. It is no different from the tobacco industry. Our tourism industry is no different, our tourism sector is no different from the tobacco industry. It is addictive. So in spite of the medical officer warnings that smoking kills and it causes cancer, these medical effects of smoking, it doesn't trample on the revenue of the tobacco industry. You know, in fact, it seems like it boosts the tobacco industry. And when we look at it within the confines of tourism, in spite of the U.S. State Department travel advisory to Jamaica as a tourism destination, cognizant of the fact that Jamaica is the number one tourist destination in the Caribbean. In spite of this travel advisory, particularly a category 4 advisory to Jamaica, which means do not travel to Jamaica, people still gravitate to Jamaica, the highland of land, wood and water, the land of reggae, Bob Marley, and these other so many attractions, tourist attractions. So in spite of that, so the comparisons is the tobacco industry is no different any different from the tourism industry. It's no different, because when I look at it, in spite of this travel advisory from the U.S. State Department, which is a legitimate concern on the part of this U.S. State Department, it is a legitimate security concern, undoubtedly, because we have to accept the fact that crime and violence is rampant in our country, and as a result, the U.S. State Department issued that it's a category 4, which means do not travel to Jamaica. But in spite of such warnings, Jamaica still remained the number one destination of travel for tourism in the Caribbean. So when I look at it, in spite of the chief medical officer warnings and about smoking kills, it causes cancer such as leukemia whatsoever, and other environmental effects are from smoking, people still smoke. It doesn't trample on the revenues of carriers. It's people still smoke. So what I understand, the more you try to tell people not to do something, it seems as if that is when their curious minds want to do it. So maybe socio-psychological effects from, certain connections. A person might, you tell them not to do this, but it's like there's a curious, the curious mind always want to do it. But nevertheless, the travel advisory to Jamaica doesn't trample on our tourism. It doesn't trample on our tourism, because in fact there's a boost in tourism in spite of the U.S. State Department travel advisory to Jamaica. When I look at it, Jamaica, I am of the view, Bapo TV is of the view that we relied heavily on tourism. Jamaica relied heavily on tourism, and the tourism sector, in my view, should not be relied so heavily on, cognizant of the fact that there can be certain crises, such as health crisis recently we recovered from the COVID-19 pandemic. So these factors must be of utmost importance. We have to understand that we have a lot of resources, and Jamaica must capitalize on our many resources. And if government capitalize on many resources, the government our economy won't have to be relied so heavily on tourism. So therefore, when I look at it and make such comparison to our tourism industry, to the tobacco industry, is that it is addictive. Jamaica will still remain the number one destination of travel in the Caribbean. What in Jamaica that make it so attractive to people all over the world who want to visit Jamaica land we love, the land of Bob Marley, you know, the land, Jamaica land we love, the land of the people of the sun, the loving people, you know. But in spite of Jamaica one love message, we still have a high crime rate. So it is not as if the US State Department travel advisory not justifiable. It is not that is not the case, because we indeed have a high crime rate. But in spite of our high crime rate, the addictiveness of our island, you know, whenever tourists, whenever visitors visit our island, there are certain attractions in our island. Our white sand beaches, our beaches is, you know, attract tourists, attract visitors to our island. So there are several tourism attractions in our country. So people will always want to come over and over to Jamaica. So in spite of the tourism, the State Department travel advisory to Jamaica a category 4, which simply means do not travel. It is no different from the warning, like the chief medical officer and the cigarette box, carrier cigarette box will label, do not, the chief medical officer warns, smoking kills. It is no different. So do not smoke, do not travel to Jamaica, do not smoke. So there's a comparison. So Bapu TV, I am out.